Okay, I think we're live. All right, awesome. I will start then. So again, thank you all for coming tonight. My name is Danielle Angelari, and I'm the Executive Director of NAMI Northern Illinois, which is the affiliate of the National Alliance on Mental Illness that serves Winnebago and Boone County here in Illinois. Um, I just wanted to give a couple of updates on our end. Our annual event is actually on next Monday, which it always seems to sneak up on you. But we're still accepting people to come either golf or come to the after hours event for our Mulligans for Mental Illness event. So you feel free to reach out to us via our website or email or phone number. We'd be happy to have you. It's always a really fun day. And we also do have some more upcoming educational events similar to this evening. Next Tuesday at 5:30 will be part 3 of our trauma series on coping with trauma. And then the 15th of June, we'll be hearing from Swedish American about the mobile integrated health program that they have in partnership with the Rockford Fire Department. And if anyone would like an updated version of our support groups, we have been changing and altering times and adding to the group. So if you'd like to shoot me an email or a chat with your email address, I'd be happy to send you an updated list. But as for this evening, we have Jason here from Goodwill of Northern Illinois to talk about supported employment programs. And if you'd be so kind to either write your questions in the chat box or the question and answer box or over here on Facebook Live, I'd be happy to facilitate questions at the end of the presentation tonight. So thank you, Jason. Appreciate you for coming.
No problem at all. Well, good evening, everybody. Again, my name is Jason Haller. I'm the Vocational Programs Manager at Goodwill. And thank you again, Danielle, for allowing me to come this evening to speak about Goodwill supported employment programs. So tonight, I just want to give you a quick preview of what we'll be discussing. First, we'll talk about what supported employment is. So we'll get into that a little bit this evening. We're going to talk about eligibility requirements for our program. We'll also talk about once you're eligible, what's the next thing that we're going to be doing. We also will get into the specifics of the supported employment program, or SEP. We'll talk about our placement program, also known as Milestone. And then I have a couple success stories to encourage everyone out there who may have a disability and is wanting to get into employment. We have some success stories that I think can be very, very encouraging to you. All right, so to get started here, what is supported employment? So Goodwill supported employment programs, which there's two, the SEP and placement program, assist individuals with disabilities with finding and maintaining employment. Okay, and I think it's important that to know that in this process, you're going to get assistance, and the assistance comes in the form of a job coach or an employment specialist, and they will work with you towards your goals. So something to really start to think about as you start down this path towards getting a job and working out in the community is to start to think about your goals. You know, what are those? What type of job do you want to work at? Because those are questions that are going to be asked along this path as you go down it. Next, we'll talk about the eligibility requirements for the program. So in order to enroll into Goodwill supported employment program, participants must first be found eligible by the Division of Rehab Services, or DOORS. Okay, so when you come to us to get assistance, I will connect you to our intake specialist, who will assist you with getting all of the initial paperwork completed, assist you with getting releases of information that are needed, so that we can then turn around and refer you to DOORS. Okay, it's important to know that DOORS funds our program, and they're the ones who will determine your eligibility. Something that's very important as we get started and you start working with us is to respond to any of Goodwill's or DOORS inquiries and contacts to you. If they are trying to get in touch with you and they need something, please respond timely on it. so that they can work through that process and get you eligible as quickly as possible. Okay. Some additional eligibility requirements of the program. You got to be at least 17 or older. And generally those are folks that are probably towards the end of their high school, getting their diploma, and now are looking into getting a job. You've got to have a documented disability or an open case with DOORS. And so, you know, the definition of disability is pretty broad. So if you believe you have a disability and would like to go through this process, we can refer you over, and then DOORS will determine from there if you qualify. All right, next, participants must be able to meet the requirements of the program and perform the essential functions of the job with or without accommodations. So requirements of the program, for instance, meeting weekly with your job coach, making sure that you're at work on time, things like that are those essential requirements. As far as and then the different types of work you'll be doing, you know, you got to be able to do things like janitorial work. So at our Goodwill stores, those in the SEP program come in for a work experience. And during that work experience, you learn how to do things like cleaning at the store and some retail functions. So you got to be able to do some of those things, again, with or without an accommodation. You got to be legally eligible to work in the United States, and you got to be able to pass a criminal background check. Again, you'll be working at a retail store, so we have to follow those requirements there. So you're eligible now. You've gone through that process with DOORS. DOORS is saying, yes, you're eligible. One thing that's important to know is that most of the time when we refer you over, you'll end up coming back to us. But that won't happen in all cases. Sometimes DOORS will refer you to another partner, like RAMP, for instance, to get your assistance. Also, DOORS will determine whether you're going to be in the SEP program or the placement program. And as I go through this in this presentation, I'll be able to go through and tell you kind of the differences between those two programs, but they're the ones who make that call. And then just so you know, our SEP and placement programs are in 3 communities currently. We do assist participants in the Rockford area, Freeport, and Sterling. And our SEP program is actually based out of our stores. Our placement programs are based out of our stores in Freeport and Sterling. And then we have an employment specialist that works out of our mission building in Rockford for those who are in the placement program. So a couple pictures here. Here's a couple of participants that are working at our store. We have one participant who is going through and rejecting clothing. So they'll look for clothes that need to come off the hangers here. And then we also have a gentleman here who's scanning books. So a couple of things that they do at our store here. So the supported employment program. So let's talk about that a little bit. So the supported employment program assists individuals with disabilities that need more support and training before entering the workforce. Okay, so this particular program could last a couple of years. And the reason for that is that there's a work experience that's a part of this. So our participants will start at our Goodwill store, will learn janitorial skills and some retail skills while at the store, building up their skills that they're going to need to be successful at a community job. Okay, where our folks in the placement program, they don't have to go, they don't have the work experience component. Then for SEP, during the work experience, our job coaches will assess and teach various job skills, including getting to work on time. So they're going to really work with our participants on making sure you're there every day when you're supposed to be there. They're going to talk to participants about dressing appropriately for work. That could be, is your hair combed like it should be? Are you wearing professional looking clothing? Things like that. Initiating work. So our job coaches will work with you so that you learn your job. But when you get into that job, you learn your job, are you taking the steps to initiate that work? Are you getting out there and doing what you're supposed to do? They also work with you on improving the quality of your work. So for instance, doing the janitorial work and you're cleaning, they're going to look very closely. Are you getting everything that you should? Are you cleaning around the toilets? Are you cleaning the mirrors like you should? They're going to work with you on how to speak with your supervisors, coworkers, and other customers. You are in a retail environment, so you may get questions of you. And during that time, if you get a question, they'll teach you like how do you respond to a customer, for instance. Staying on task. This is one that they'll work with you on. You know, it's important to continue to work. This is a paid experience. You get a paid work experience at our store. So as part of that, we're expecting that you stay on task and get the work done that you've been asked to do. You'll work on teamwork. Some of our stores, we have several participants working at a time. You get to meet those participants, but you also have to work with them. So teamwork is very important. You'll work on problem solving. And also, we take it very, very seriously about safety at Goodwill. We talk about it all the time from, you know, how do we exit during a fire? Do you know where your first aid kit is? Things like that. And again, as I spoke about previously, you'll be learning janitorial skills as part of this, and some retail skills while you're working at the store during your experience. All right, and then in addition to your work experience, participants will receive weekly job development services. So what does this mean? Well, you'll work one-on-one with your job coach or employment specialist. And first, you're going to develop an individualized plan. So like I said earlier, I think it's really important for you to start to think about what type of job do you want to do? What are your goals as far as working goes? Because once you get into this, we're going to start to put together a plan with you. You're going to work on resume building. So this is something that I think is really important right now too. Even though you may not be working with us just yet, I think it's good to start to look at what places you've worked at. What skills have you picked up over the time that you've worked at those places? And don't forget your volunteer work experiences. I think we sometimes underplay those, but you could be doing some volunteer work right now, and that could translate really well into a resume. We're going to talk with you about interviewing, okay, and working with you on interview skills. Okay, so it's another very important aspect. I know many participants may have a lot of anxiety around interviewing, and so we'll work with you on how to appropriately respond to interview questions. And just know one of the things that a job coach can do is actually go with you on your interview. Some participants would like that, so just know that's available. We assist folks. You know, right now most employers want you to go online to do that, and that's where a participant could get some assistance from a job coach. Is in that applying process. But I also ask that take an active part in this. Maybe you're out in the community and you see an employer you'd love to work for, and you're like, hey, I want to apply there. Bring that to your job coach so they know, hey, this is what you'd like to do. And then, occasionally there's a need that comes up during meetings. Hey, you're struggling to get food on the table. Well, hey, we could help you by making a referral to any like a food bank locally. So there may be referral sources that we have to look at. And then next, another service that's part of what we do is something called Job Club. And I think this is another way to learn some of those important skills you're going to need to be successful on the job. So what Job Club is our job coaches get our participants together, and they'll usually, currently we're doing that through Zoom, and we'll learn various things like, in this case, workplace behavior, following a schedule, employer expectations, interview skills, and completing online applications, just to name a few things. But again, our job coaches will assist you by getting you connected to this job club, and then you get to meet other peers who are going through the same thing. So it's just a nice part of the program to be involved in. And I think it's important to also, again, emphasize your responsibilities in this as you get started into to eventually working in the community, because that's really what the goal is. You may start at Goodwill with a work experience, but the goal is to find a community job that you can be successful in and eventually independent in, away from Goodwill and away from doors. So one of the things that is a responsibility of yourself is to make sure you attend all your staffings, and they're done every 8 weeks in the SEP program. You'll be meeting with Goodwill staff. You'll be meeting with your doors counselor every 8 weeks. Make sure too, you follow the rules of the program, like attending your weekly job development sessions. Very important. We can't be successful if you're not being involved in this process. Make sure you're worked on time and prepared to start your day. So important. You know, we can only go so far as job coaches, encouraging and supporting you and doing the things that we can do. You got to be able to make sure you're there on time and prepared. Be involved in the creation of your individualized plan. Again, this is your plan. You know, we're there to encourage you again and to put supports in place to help you be successful. In order for that to happen, you got to be involved. And one of the ways to be involved is to help with this. And be willing to learn new work skills. I think this is a huge area. Be willing to learn. When you come to work every day, be willing to learn as you go along. And again, I think I'll stress this. The goal is for you to become independent at your new community job. Again, eventually, we're going to be pulling away as time goes on. Eventually, you're going to be depending on those natural supports that you have at work, which are your supervisors and other coworkers. We're there to kind of support you through the process until you find that job. All right. So once a community job is found, the SEP program offers job coaching for participants to assist them with learning their new job task. Okay. So you get on the job, you find a new community job you really like. We do have some job coaches who could be there with you and help you through that process and learning. Now, typically, we offer more job coaching at the start of your community work experience. And as time goes on, that phases down to the point where, again, we're working towards that independence on the job. Now, one thing that's really important now in this world we're living in with COVID, I think it's important to know that due to COVID, some employers will not allow us to job coach on site. So for instance, I think of nursing homes right off the bat. Many nursing homes will not allow us on site to job coach. So just know there are certain jobs out there where you get in there, the employer is going to take the lead and train you on it. But doesn't mean that we disappear. Goodwill will continue to job coach you remotely. So we might check in with you, see how things are going, check in with the employer and make sure that things are going well on the job. And then once a participant has been successfully completed our program and is stable on their job, doors will close their case. So again, eventually doors will be out of this loop. Once your case is closed with doors, Goodwill will continue to check in with you at 30 days, 6 months, and 1 year post-closure. So just because doors is closed, we're still there checking in. We want to make sure, again, that you continue to be successful. After a year after doors closes your case, and after we do our 1 year check-in, at that point, if you're still stable on your job, we will close your case on our end. However, if during this time of checking in with you, we find that you have lost your job and need to start looking for a job again, we can help with that as well. We can refer you back to doors to reopen your case and start working with you again towards another job. All right, so that's a little bit about the SEP program. I'm going to go over lightly here the placement program because it has much of the same structure. However, there are a few differences that I'll highlight about the placement program. Okay. First, no work experience at a Goodwill store in the placement program. So you're not going to come in and then do your experience. Usually folks in the placement program with doors will look at those folks as being more job ready. So if you're in the placement program, they're saying, hey, let's just jump into getting a community job. So there won't be the experience. You'll go right into job development with your job coach, working towards that goal of finding a community job. Again, both programs offer job development and offer job club. Take advantage of those things. And like I said, you got to be involved in your job development meetings. And I would highly encourage everyone to be involved in job club. Placement requires 8-week staffing. So just like with SEP, you'll be doing staffings every 8 weeks with Goodwill and your doors counselor. And the difference comes when a job is found here. So in the placement program, you'll be meeting with doors and Goodwill at 15 days, 45 days, and 90 days of employment once a job is found. After 90 days of employment, if you're stable in this program, you'll doors closes you out. And then we start again our process of following up with you at 30 days, 6 months, and 1 year. As you can see, the placement program is shorter in duration. This program is, you hit the ground running, looking for a job. Once a job's in place, we follow you and could also put some job coaching in place so that you're successful on that job. But after 90 days, if you're successful, then doors will close you. So those are just some of the differences that you'll see in that particular program. So to finish up tonight, one of the things I like to do, and I want to really encourage everyone out there, it's like you may be thinking, I want to work. You don't know if this is something that you want to really pursue, though. You don't know if you'll be successful. I know, I want to encourage you guys out there. There are a lot of successes who've come through this program. And I'm going to give you a couple tonight. And I'll start with Stephen's story here. Through Goodwill Supported Employment Work Program, Stephen has had the opportunity to have assistance with learning how to search for jobs, fill out applications, learn and practice interviewing skills. In January of this year, Stephen began participating in Goodwill's job class each week to further work on his employment skills. All of Stephen's hard work over the last 6 months has paid off. Stephen applied, interviewed, and was hired for a position at Portillo's. According to Stephen, I enjoyed my time and work experience at Goodwill. I'm very excited to start working at Portillo's. We are all very proud of you, Stephen. One of the things that you guys can see as well, if you go to Goodwill's Facebook site, Goodwill Northern Illinois, that's the Goodwill I'm a part of. If you go to our Facebook site, you will occasionally see our success stories pop up there. That's where we kind of throw out the successes that we see in our program. So Stephen was one of those success stories. And then next, I've got Claire here. Claire was part of the SEP program at the Goodwill in Sterling. Claire received training while doing janitorial work at Goodwill. She got a job quickly, being hired as a dog groomer at Wizard of Paws. During that time, she also was hired at Dollar Tree, where she was in charge of stocking. She has worked at Dollar Tree for a year now and has successfully completed the program. Claire says, working at Goodwill gave me the confidence I needed to get a job in the community. So again, another success story of an individual who came into our program, who needed some assistance. We worked with them through the process and is now successfully working a community job. So again, I want to just encourage everyone out there who is in this boat of, should I go for it? Should I look at a community employment? To look at these success stories and to know that successes do happen in this program. So we could take questions. I also put on here my contact information. If you need to get in touch with me with further questions too after tonight, you're like, hey, I wish I would have asked the question. you can give me a call at 815-987-6239. That's my direct number. If you're deciding to sign up and get started, I'll get you referred over to our intake specialist who will start working on that process. Also, you have the opportunity to email me as well at jhaller@goodwillni.org. Again, any questions you have, you can certainly send it that way and I'll respond to you. So Danielle, that's what I've got. I don't know if you have any questions that came up during the presentation.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. I've not seen any questions yet, but I would be happy to read some off to you if
Sure,
our audience has any.
sure.
And I'm sorry, my dog's gonna start crying because he doesn't like Zoom. So
Oh,
I apologize.
no problem at all.
Anyone on Facebook or here on Zoom, if you have questions, feel free to type them out for me and I'll read them over to Jason. I'll give you a minute. But thank you, very informative. And if you don't mind, I'm not sure if you'd like to share your slides or if you mind that I share the recording to people that maybe had signed up but couldn't make it tonight.
Yeah, you certainly can. Go ahead and share out the slides. I think I sent you the slides today, so go ahead and do so.
Awesome. And then I will share your contact information as well.
Great.
Sue, do you have a question here? You can speak if you'd like, Sue.
No, I didn't have a question.
Oh, okay. I just saw your little hand raised. Got it.
I hit it by accident.
Oh, it's okay.
problem at all.
David, do you have a question? Let's see.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh,
Yes.
wonderful. Okay. I wasn't sure if this was working right. Yeah, I'm Grandpa. I'm zooming in for my grandson Christopher. I think we've talked on the phone. I think I may have left you a message today when I called on the phone, and I'm extremely interested in this program. My
Great.
grandson Christopher is very bipolar
Sure.
and really struggles with that a great deal. Been through numerous jobs. I was running around this afternoon getting him another job application. And Jason, I've got your information. I'm going to call you, and I'm telling you the biggest thing, if I could just make a comment,
Sure.
is just information sharing with people in the community that have these extreme problems in their household. And NAMI has been wonderful. It's the go-to place. We're also dealing with Rosecrans. And the other thing that I found after numerous 911 calls at the house, once upon a time, I just said I have a mental health emergency when I dialed 911. And that initiated the whole process of getting mental health professionals involved with our problem. And that has just been wonderful. So what I found is just so many people out there just don't know what to do or where to go. And these programs that you have are just wonderful. And I'm a retired guy. I'm a chaplain for the whole Northern Illinois VFW district. I got 17 different posts. I'm very involved with the veterans community in different capacities. I'm retired full colonel, and I taught JOTC for Rockford Public Schools for 7 years. So I have a lot of interactions with kids and things in the community. I'd be very happy to volunteer in any capacity for NAMI. So I'll go ahead and give up my phone number, 571-299-8377. Email David Draeger, Draeger, 83@yahoo.com. And I want to get much more involved in this stuff, because the more you get involved, the more you learn, and the more people I can help with absolute family debilitating problems. This thing has ripped our family apart. So I want to do everything I can to help anybody that's going through this thing. So
Yeah.
I will call you tomorrow, Jason. I've got your
Great.
stuff, and I want to thank everybody so much for getting the information out on this stuff. And I'll be in touch, and thank you so very much.
No problem at all. And I throw out to you and everyone that's out there listening, a lot of people don't realize, when people give to Goodwill and the donations we receive, how that then turns into the services we offer. So I mean, this is one of many services. We also offer like a free GED program. A lot of people don't realize here in Rockford we got a free GED program going on. We've had a tax program. There's different things like that we've been involved in. And so yeah, I getting the word out, I think, is really important.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. I haven't gotten your voicemail again, but I will call you tomorrow as well. Are there any other questions from the audience? You do have the ability to raise your hand, and I can allow you to talk as well. I've not seen any. Oh, wow. Okay. So how long does the process take to get into your program, Jason?
So I would say it's going to take a little bit of time. Once you come to us, we'll work with you to get all the paperwork done, but then it goes to the Division of Rehab Services. So they're the ones who are going to determine your eligibility. I would say to speed up that process, make sure that you're staying in touch with your doors counselor. If we contact you, because our intake specialist, she calls doors regularly every month, checking on the status of things. If she contacts you too, make sure you get a call back. So I think that's the biggest thing. Communication lines have got to remain open, and that you got to be responsive and making sure you get everything that you need to doors in a timely manner.
Thank you. Any more questions? If not, if something does pop up later in your mind, I will provide you all with Jason's information, as well as the slides from tonight and the recording, so you can go back through it and listen again as well. Oh, wait, we got one.
Okay.
Billy Joe, do you have a question? Possibly. Maybe not. Maybe it was an accident again. But we did have some thank yous for you, Jason. And I appreciate all the work you do as well.
Everyone's welcome. Thank you again for allowing me to come and present this evening. Like I said, if you guys have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I can certainly answer those questions for you. You may get away another hour from now and all of a sudden something comes up. Please go ahead and do so. I'm around.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for coming tonight. Everyone have a good evening.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.